Good morning, everyone. How are you all? Good.
Good
All
morning.
right. All right. What have we discussed in our previous session? We talked about the units of heat and units of temperature, right? Heat is measured in calories and joules. Temperature is measured in kelvins and Celsius scales. The temperature measured on Kelvin scale is called as absolute temperature. Correct? And we also talked about thermal contact and thermal equilibrium. Today we'll be discussing about the relationship between temperature and kinetic energy. To understand this in a better way, let's look at a simple experiment. Again, let's take two beakers, one filled with hot water and one beaker filled with cold water. Alright, now we will add grains of food color. So this is where this gets interesting. We'll take a hot water beaker and cold water beaker and we will add grains of food color into both of these beakers. What do you observe? What do you see? The food color, the grains of food color would be getting mixed up faster in the hot water beaker compared to the cold water beaker, right? And initially when you sprinkle these grains of food color in both these beakers, you will observe the difference in the movement of these particles in the hot water beaker and cold water beaker. What happens here when we put the food grains in this beaker? The grains of the food would be moving rapidly and randomly around. Okay, and in cold water the movement is not as rapid as we observe in the hot water beaker. Right? Yes. So the motion of the particles is higher in the hot water beaker. Okay, and you all know the energy associated with the movement of particles. What is it? The energy possessed by a body due to its motion is called as kinetic energy. Correct? So, motion of the particles is kinetic energy. Now, there is difference in the kinetic energy of the grains of food color in hot water and cold water. The difference is that the movement is rapid and faster here. That means kinetic energy of the particles is more in the hot water beaker compared to the cold water beaker. So you see there is a direct relationship between temperature and kinetic energy of the particles in a body. Temperature of the body and kinetic energy of the particles inside the body, which is the average kinetic energy. The kinetic energy is directly proportional to the temperature. If the temperature is more, the kinetic energy of the particles is more because movement of the particles is rapid and it is more, right? If the temperature is less, movement is less and hence kinetic energy is less, correct? So, can I say kinetic energy is directly proportional to the temperature? In order to define this, The average kinetic energy of the particles inside a body is directly proportional to the absolute temperature. So Ke is proportional to T. Any questions? Any doubts? Alright. Now let us understand these concepts a little better using this experiment, alright. So what do we have here? We have a beaker. Let's take a beaker and fill it with hot water. Okay, and then carefully above on top of the water, let's pour a layer of coconut oil. Alright, so care must be taken that these two shouldn't get mixed. Okay, so now what do? We immerse a thermometer in oil, in just the oil, right? And one more thermometer in water. So what happens, this thermometer B, it will measure the temperature of the hot water, and this thermometer A will measure the temperature of just the oil. Okay, so now as we do this, what do we observe? What did we observe over a certain period of time? The reading in this thermometer will start falling. At the same time, simultaneously, the reading in this thermometer will start raising. Right? What is happening? What is happening here? This is the hot water. The heat energy flows from hot water to the coconut oil. Right? So that means heat energy is getting transferred like this. Right? So what happens? The kinetic energy of the particles of the hot water will start falling, will start getting reduced. At the same time, the kinetic energy of the particles of the coconut oil will increase. This will increase and this will decrease. Heat energy flows from this object to this layer, this layer of water to coconut oil layer. And the reading in the thermometer, this thermometer, it will start falling. That means the temperature of the water will start falling and the temperature of the coconut oil will start rising. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
So heat energy being transferred, right? Kinetic energy of hot water of the particles of hot water reducing, kinetic energy of the particles of coconut oil increasing, right? The same time, thermometer B will the reading will fall, the reading in the thermometer A will rise. You see how this energy is being transferred and how the thermometer readings are changing. So this gives us a clear picture of what we were discussing so far, right? So let's differentiate this in a better way. Heat and temperature. So heat, it is the energy that flows, right? See, that's what is happening here. Heat is the energy which flows, whereas the temperature, it is the quantity which denotes which object is hotter or colder. Quantity which tells us which object is hotter or colder is our temperature. So So temperature will determine the flow of heat energy, right? Right? This is the quantity which determines the flow of heat energy, because heat is the energy which flows from hotter object to the colder object due to temperature difference. So temperature denotes or determines the flow of heat energy, whereas heat is nothing but it is energy which is in transit, which is in motion. Any doubts so far?
No.
Okay. All right. Now let's look at an experiment. Okay, it's simple experiment. Let's take a beaker again of filled with hot water. Okay, and let us now immerse two test tubes. Test tube 1 contains oil and test tube 2 has water. Okay, let's place these two test tubes containing water and oil at same temperature, and let's immerse them in a beaker with hot water, and we'll measure the temperature of oil and water for every 2 or 3 minutes. What do you observe? See, I am immersing these two test tubes at the same time, and I am keeping these test tubes in the hot water for the same amount of time. So that means, see, here we are supplying same amount of heat energy, right? Same hot water. So same amount of heat energy is being supplied, and I am doing it at the same time. So the same amount of heat energy is being supplied for the same amount of time for both oil and water. At the end, when you measure the temperatures of oil and water, which would be at more temperature? What do you think? Oil or water? Oil, correct? Yes. Oil would be at more temperature. Oil would be hotter, right? This is similar to the experiment that we have discussed in the first session, wherein we have, yes, metal and wooden pieces. We have given same amount of time. We have put both these pieces for same amount of time in the refrigerator. The conditions are same basically, but metal is colder. Similarly here, oil would be hotter. The temperature of oil is hotter than water in this case. Why? This depends on the nature of the substance. That's what we are learning from this experiment. So the raise in the temperature, the amount of the raise in the temperature, it depends on the nature of the substance. Get it? So the rate of rise in the temperature depends on the nature of the substance. The nature of oil here is to get hotter, faster. For the same amount of time and for the same amount of heat supplied, oil gets heated a little faster compared to water. So that is the nature of that substance, right? So yes, here we have to learn, this is the important point. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So let's take two beakers. One is filled with 250 grams of water and the other is filled with 1 kg of water. Okay. Now we want to heat them. So that I want water in both the beakers to measure 60 degrees Celsius. So until the temperature is raised to 60 degrees Celsius, I want to heat these beakers of water. What do you observe? Which gets heated first, or which will reach this temperature faster? Yes, beaker with 250 grams of water will reach this temperature faster when compared to 1 kg of water, right? Right. That means we have taken water which is at the same temperature. The only difference here is that the mass is different. See, here we are taking 250 grams and here we are taking 1 kg. So in this case, we observe the time taken to reach this temperature is more for this beaker. That means what? I am heating this for more time, no? Heating this for more time means I am giving greater amount of heat energy or more heat energy. Greater amount of heat energy or more heat energy is being utilized for 1 kg of water to reach the same temperature, 60 degrees Celsius. Correct? So, then can I say that with an increase in the mass, the amount of heat energy required is also increasing, right? More mass, more quantity, then I need more amount of heat energy. Yes, so this brings us to very important and interesting law, that the amount of heat energy is directly proportional to the mass of the substance to attain the same change in the temperature. Yes, to get the same change in the temperature, 60 degrees Celsius, the amount of heat energy taken by this is different from this, right? And that difference is due to the mass. So, Q is used to denote heat energy. Q is directly proportional to M, mass. Delta T constant. What do I mean by this? For the same change in temperature. Delta denotes change. Change in T. T is temperature. Change in temperature is constant for both these cases, which is 60 degrees Celsius. Right? So, delta T is constant. For the same rise of temperature, more heat is required as the mass increases. So, Q is directly proportional to M given delta T is constant. Understand?
Yeah.
Any questions? Any doubts? Consider this as equation number 1. Okay. Now, I'll take a beaker with 1 liter of water, fixed constant amount of water, mass is fixed here, right? And I'll start heating this. Okay, now what do I do is, for every 2 minutes, I will record the temperature. What happens as the time increases, the temperature also increases, right? So what is happening as I keep heating this over certain period of time, I'm heating this for more time. That means I'm giving it more heat energy. Yes, the amount of heat energy I'm supplying to this beaker of water is increasing, right? More heat energy. And as heat energy is being supplied over a period of time, the temperature is also increasing, right? Or rise in the temperature. Correct? So now can I say then, the change in the temperature is directly proportional to the heat energy received or heat energy supplied to that particular body. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah? So Q proportional to delta T. Amount of heat energy supplied is directly proportional to the change in temperature. Of course, given mass is constant here. See, I am not changing this 1 liter of the quantity of water in the beaker. So, M is constant. Any questions?
No.
Okay, we consider this as equation number 2. Now, from both these equations, we have Q proportional to M and Q is proportional to delta T. So, can I write this as Q is proportional to M delta T, right? Let's equate this. Q equals, we have removed the proportionality, so we have to add a constant of proportionality. Yes? So, that constant of proportionality, I am writing it as S. Sm delta T. Now, this S is your constant. This is the constant of proportionality, which is called as specific heat. The constant of proportionality S is called as specific heat, right? So, what is S from this equation? S equal to Q by M delta T. S equals Q by M delta T. Understand how we derived this equation, this formula?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. Now, using this equation, we can define the specific heat. Yes? Yes? What is this? Heat. Q, which is divided by mass and delta T. So, specific heat can be defined as amount of heat energy required per unit mass of any substance to raise its temperature, to raise the temperature by a unit. So, that means specific heat is the amount of heat energy required to raise unit temperature by unit mass. Okay?
Okay.
Per unit mass of the substance by 1 unit. So, the change in the temperature is 1 unit. Okay. So, for 1 unit change in the temperature for unit mass, how much energy, how much heat energy we require, that value is nothing but your specific heat. Get it?
Yes.
Any questions?
No.
We'll be looking at specific heat, the units of specific heat and applications of this concept in detail in the next session.
Okay.
All right? Thank you.